So here's the random I told you about this channel. I was gonna share something that happened to me. That you guys tell me what it was, what you think it might have been. Last Saturday, which would have been the 23rd of August, probably about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, I came outside, out my door to take my dogs to the bathroom. My door's right there, steps are right there, they're about 6 feet away from me. And as I came around and walking this way, I got right here, and see if I can get this right down there. I heard what sounded like a faint whistle. And what's odd is, sorry about that. What's odd, it was one of those that you kind of stop in your tracks and you're like, hey, I think I heard something. I think I heard that whistle, but did I really? And I stood there for a minute, and then I walked my dogs, and we came back in. I told my wife about it, because I hear and see things that sound just absolutely crazy out here. You would think, yeah, that guy needs to go to the loony bin if you knew all the things that I've seen and heard out here in the woods. Anyways, it was a distinct whistle. There aren't many birds. As a matter of fact, there aren't really any birds that make any kind of noise at night except for the owl and the whippoorwill, both of which I know. But this was like a man had gone, just a solid, like, but faint. There's no mistaking that it was a whistle, but it was one of those moments like, did I really hear that? And then this happened. I was walking yesterday morning. I always walk this road. Let's see. That's going away from my house. But I always walk this road, and my wife walks it pretty regularly. And we had our dogs with us. And on our way back, which would be going, forgive the camera, that way, one of the dogs had gotten too hot, so I stopped, and I was walking at her pace. And I texted my daughter, told her to come on the four-wheeler to pick up the dog. And the dog would walk, maybe 100 feet, and then she'd stop. And so I keep the same pace with her. And yesterday, we were standing right here, and from those woods, I'm standing here with the dog. Zena's her name. I'm standing here with Zena. My wife's probably half a mile ahead of us at this point. And there was a whistle. Now, I know the difference between the birds and a whistle. And the weird thing about this, it was a super, not like a high-pitched whistle, but it was like there was a tremendous amount of breath in the whistle, and I could hear that. Needless to say, I racked one, and I told Zena and the other dog to come on, and I walked probably 1/8 of a mile backwards, keeping my eyes on these woods right here. Now, a lot of you could say, oh, you're just crazy, maybe, but I can tell you, there's no mistaking what I heard. And there's lots of other strange things like that I could tell you about since I've lived out here and walked out here in these woods. Maybe I will. Maybe, I said this channel was going to be random, and it's really going to be random. Just things that are interesting, weird things that happen, whatever. Take it for what it's worth, man. A straight up whistle. And, you know, if a man whistles, and again, not the high pitched, it's almost like it was a whistle that was struggling to sound like a whistle, if that makes sense. So you could hear the breath. And I don't know that you could hear that from a man, because I couldn't see anything. And there's no mistaking, it was no bird of any kind. You tell me what you think it is. I know what I think it is, and you'll probably laugh at me. But I believe that all the fairy tales are actually true. I know what did that. You tell me. What whistled at me from the woods? There's nobody else out here. They only come out every now and then. You tell me. My lovely dogs. So to finish this story out, when the incident happened this Saturday that I was just talking about, I was telling my wife about it. I was texting her and telling her, because like I said, she was about a half mile up ahead of me. And her response to me was, she said, "Stop it." She said, "I've heard something when I've been walking back there." So it's not just me, someone else has heard it. And, you know, we haven't really shared those stories between each other. I had no idea she'd heard it. And one last thing, I didn't realize until today, both the whistle that I heard right down there out of those woods and the whistle that I was just telling you about on the road, this one was very faint. That one on the road was very loud, like I told you, but they were the same kind of whistle. The I don't know how to explain it. The single tone, like a, not a, it was just a single tone, and they were both like that. So you tell me, what is it that's whistling at me from the woods?